For the past decade, I've been obsessed with finding the fastest, easiest way to learn new skills. After years of research and teaching, I've uncovered a mistake that guarantees failure almost 100% of the time. Unfortunately, most people make this mistake every single day. I call it theory overload, and understanding this concept is crucial if you want to master any skill quickly. But before we dive into that, let's talk about a fundamental yet often overlooked key to learning: experiential cycling. Imagine practicing archery every day for a month. You'd assume you'd get better, right? Maybe, but maybe not. Once I release an arrow, I can't control where it lands. Its final position depends entirely on the setup beforehand. The same applies to learning. Our exam results, memory retention, and comprehension all depend on the processes we use while studying. Now, if I shoot an arrow and it lands off target, I need to know what to change to improve my aim. Simply repeating the action without adjustments won't help me improve consistently. The same applies to learning. Scoring well on one exam doesn't necessarily mean you've solved your learning problems. This is the essence of experiential cycling. Have an experience, observe the result. Analyze what needs improvement. Experiment with a new approach. Without this cycle, learning becomes aimless. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They overload themselves with too much theory and not enough practical application. Let's look at two students. Suresh spent 5 weeks on my learning program and covered 31% of the material. Enzo spent 54 weeks on the same program but covered only 20% of the material. Who do you think improved the most? Surprisingly, Enzo was the one who dramatically improved. His scores jumped from 62% to 92%. Meanwhile, Suresh's scores dropped from 80% to 71%. Why? Theory overload. Suresh crammed too many concepts into a short time. Enzo, on the other hand, took his time, allowing each skill to develop into a habit before moving forward. Think of your brain like a bowl. It has a limited capacity for information, just like a computer's RAM. Every time you learn something new, it takes up cognitive resources. Let's say I'm learning archery. Hold the arrow tighter, stabilize my core, relax my shoulders, breathe more slowly, aim lower. Each step fills my cognitive bowl until it overflows. When that happens, I can't effectively process new information anymore. This is called cognitive overload, and it prevents learning. When learning a physical skill like archery, we burn energy using muscles. But when learning a cognitive skill, like studying, we burn mental effort. The act of learning itself requires a lot of cognitive resources. Adding too many new concepts too quickly overloads our brains and stops learning in its tracks. Here's the right way to learn. Balance theory with practice. Too little theory equals aimless practice. Too much theory equals overload. Only experiment with 1 to 2 new concepts at a time. Let skills become habits before adding more complexity. When a skill becomes a habit, your brain finds a shortcut, freeing up cognitive resources for learning new skills. This is the key to long-term improvement. A simple rule of thumb: for every 1 hour of theory, do at least 5 hours of practice. If you only have 5 hours per week to learn a skill, limit theory to 1 hour. If you have 20 hours per week, you can handle 4 hours of theory. However, this varies depending on the complexity of the skill. For harder skills, you may need even more practice time before introducing new theory. Rather than tracking hours, monitor habit formation. If tasks feel easier and faster without losing accuracy, you're forming habits. If learning still feels effortful and inconsistent, you may need more practice before adding new theory. Enzo realized he was forming habits more slowly than expected. Instead of rushing, he covered only 20% of the program over a year. He followed a 15.1 or even 21 practice-to-theory ratio, ensuring he never overloaded himself. As a result, he achieved optimal skill growth without ever feeling stuck. If you're interested in the program Enzo used, check out the link in the description. The mistake that ruins learning is theory overload. But the reverse is also true. Almost 100% of the time, when students balance their theory intake with practice and habit formation, they learn faster and more efficiently. This is why I believe this is one of the most important things to understand if you want to learn any skill. I hope this helps. If you've got room for just one more piece of theory, check out this video. YouTube thinks you'll love it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.